Gonna do a little update on the COVID-19 War on Humanity videos that I was making a series of. I did for a while there, back when there was a lot of activity, and some of my subscribers have asked why I haven't made one in a while. Well, uh, along with all this other stuff going on with this pandemic, whether it's real or not, Um, in the U.S. at least, there's been a run on guns, ammunition, and my channel basically is about firearms and reloading and ammunition. So I've been quite busy and tied up with things in that nature. But as for how this is progressing here, I think they've come to an impasse. In my opinion, what's going on, it's another attempt to install a global government, eliminate all governments, all politics, and just have this strange universal global thing where everyone just lives. Okay, and I'm talking about where, money, I think Star Trek said that, money doesn't matter, it's eliminated. This futuristic view where money and all this, a lot of things are under attack here. Our values, government, national identity, the monetary system, all right? But honestly, I think it's gotten to a point where you kind of can't hide it anymore, okay? Things have changed in society and with technology, that all of these concepts of politics, of government, national identity, money, and all of that are kind of going out the window. All right, we've evolved to a point where none of these things are going to matter anymore. But the problem is, no matter what, people have a tendency not to want to give those things and concepts up. Okay, it goes against being human. Okay, it's human nature. It's a form of security. Okay, so this is what the conflict is all about. People are trying to force people to change their mindset to fit in to this new world global order or whatever. And it was a war. It's a psychological war to break people, okay? So, and to break the economies, and it's global, it's all over. Okay, protests are all over the world. Black Lives Matter thing is all over the world. They have protests in Germany and England, all over, where to me it makes no sense, but that's going on, all right? And then the economic hardship and this restriction of movement, which is still going on in the Soviet Union. You have to have a pass to walk around freely. Okay, and certain people have a pass that they can go anywhere, and other people, because of this COVID-19, really can't leave their house. So this whole thing started with this pandemic outbreak, put the whole world under house arrest, and then as it's progressed, okay, people start questioning it. I have from the start. And about a month ago in August, people were losing momentum with this, and then the governor come out and said, hey, I want everybody to wear masks. There's a huge spike, and there's deaths and everything, and everyone has to wear a mask if you go outside your house. So this went on for a week of this. And when I went to a store, some stores will let you in without a mask no matter what. They're trying to stop me, and I just told them it's a religious thing, and in the door I went. They still served you. They still, they want your money. They still let you in the store. And I was like, me and another person were the only ones in the store, say like 60 people, that were not wearing a mask. Well, 3 weeks later, I go into the same store. They're not pushing this on the news, the people at the front door ain't there to force you to wear a mask or give you one if you don't have one. And only 20% of the people in the store are wearing a mask. Okay? So it's losing momentum. All right? And then the rioting and that's still going on. I've seen on the news this morning, there's rioting in Belarus. There was rioting in Russia. Someone tried poisoning the challenger to President Putin. So there is some conflict, protests, and riots globally going on in different pockets. But then again, how it's portrayed, or that, I think they're blowing some of it out of proportion. We have this ongoing thing in Portland, okay, and it's always portrayed as terrible, violent, and this and that. Several people have made videos on YouTube that live in Portland, Oregon, and they drive around in the daytime, and they drove past the courthouse and that. What it is, it's the federal courthouse, and there's one area they gather, and they get out of control, and that's where all the problem is. Because the guy said, a lot of people have been emailing me, friends, family, are you alright, are you alright? And he goes, really? I go to work, I drive around. He was driving around Portland, he shows us, and he went to the area where the courthouse is. He goes, all of it's contained here, and they only come out at a certain time and do this and carry on. And so you get these conflicting views. Okay, this is portrayed as like the city's under siege on the news, and the guy goes, a bunch of people come out here and raise hell and do stuff, and then, they have to call in federal marshals or whatever to control this. And now I guess they're all suing the mayor and all this other stuff, and so it's all this political mumbo jumbo. I don't believe there's instability in this country to a point where there will be some sort of war or revolution. It has not gotten that far, and the reason it hasn't gotten that far is people still have things to lose. Their house, their car, their job. Okay? People still have something to lose if this happens. So even though there's provocation, even though there's shootings at these, some of these demonstrations where people have been shot and killed, it is not going to spark a total outright riot or revolution, because too many people in this country still have something to lose where this is not a good idea. Okay? Instigators keep trying, and they're failing. Okay? Because there's people that have come out and said, look, stop this protesting. Vote, or become a political activist or something. Don't rip down statues, burn buildings and stuff. This is not going to do any good for anybody, no matter what you're protesting. Okay? So the protest momentum, even though it's still there and it still goes on, it kind of lost its, the protest movement kind of lost its momentum, is what I'm trying to say. And even though people are nervous about it, they were carrying on about defunding the police and all this, and that really frightened an awful lot of people. Okay? But the police are still there. Try speeding through town, you'll find out they're there. And a lot of it, nothing came of it. So now we're getting into the elections. This is where it's going to get interesting. Let me get my coffee. The elections. Everyone's kind of fixed on the elections. So now there's this giant thing. Each side of the fence is accusing the other of being a Nazi and all this other stuff, and if you vote for this person, all your rights will be gone and your life will be in trouble, and getting rid of the police, and then A lot of people accuse President Trump of incompetency and causing the death of millions of Americans and stuff. It's all insane. And I really don't believe whoever's elected is not going to change how events are progressing. The push for the globalization, they're getting anxious, so they pushed it. It's not going to work, at least not immediately. And where you have problems with all of this, outside of politics or whatever, is where this is all caused by a virus that one of the richest men in the world have the vaccine for, Bill Gates. Okay? Something ain't right here. When that's like a sci-fi movie where he's using his money to control. Okay? He's not running for president. He doesn't want a political office, but he controls the lives of everyone on the planet. Okay? Something to think about. Then, like with manufacturing, they were doing a thing about Elon Musk building this gigantic automobile plant for his electric cars somewhere out in Arizona or something, where it's all with solar panels, it's all with this, and this huge, this place was gigantic. This was a large factory. But if you look through it, being in manufacturing all my life, he's using the green energy, solar panels, this and that, to generate its own power. So what that does is that takes this factory off the power grid. See, this is where you're asking, well, what does that all have to do? Well, there's two sides to every war. This guy's doing something where he's going to have this giant manufacturing facility and take it off the power grid. So the people who run a monopoly of energy, be it electricity or gas or whatever, he's attacking that group of people which are established and are powerful. Also in this factory, something that size, I remember in the old days, that would employ like 8,000 people. Well, when you look inside there, it's all automated with robotics. And there's more robots and machinery in there than there are human beings. So even though he's building this huge facility, he's not really creating any jobs. And where this, to me, the old way was, you had a lot of manufacturing, you had a lot of employees, people made money, people had money to buy the products like cars or whatever that they're manufacturing. Okay, the reverse is happening. You're having this manufacturing done. Cars are not cheap, brand new cars, by any measures. And I don't know what these electric ones cost. But you don't have anybody earning enough money to afford to buy one. So this is what's getting me to think is, where is this going? This guy's knocking the power monopoly. He's running a manufacturing plant that has less employees. So he's not paying employees. He's just investing in equipment and producing a product. And with the global population expanding with every year, there's more and more people falling into an impoverished area. Okay, and I think this is what this is all about. What are you going to do with all these people that don't have a job, that can't afford stuff? Where you're starting to crush them down to where they're just impoverished forever. Okay? This is kind of what's at the bottom of all this. But where it's going to go, all I can tell you is with the elections coming up, it's going to get out of control. There's going to be all kinds of strange things going to happen with this election, all kinds of excuses. They're already calling names. I get a call twice a day from each different political party on the phone. I get emails. I get stuff mailed to me. I've already made up my mind who I'm going to vote for and why the hell they keep doing this and just nonstop hammering you. And if you watch anything on primetime TV like I was last night, in between there's all political commercials. All political commercials. Okay, and really, most of the candidates, they're all lying and they're all thieves. Each one's accusing the other one of selling out to this, the drug companies. This. They ain't none of them honest. Okay, so no matter who you vote for, you're going to lose. All right. So that's my thoughts on that. It's just tiring, and really, it is a psychological war. And it does wear on you. See, this is how they're going to get you. They're just going to wear on you till it affects you. Okay? I still have hope. Most people around me, they don't even talk about the COVID thing anymore. Very few people wear a mask. We just go about our lives. It's just a lot of things are closed or non-existent anymore. So, that's the sad part of it. And like I said, the political thing, it's just a mess, and it will be. Everyone's hoping that all of this stuff will end soon, but it looks to me, because like when I asked, I said, well, when do you think they're going to reprieve this and let us open the bar even with all the restrictions? And he told me, nah. The governor's pissed. He ain't going to win the election, so he goes, he could keep everything shut down to the end of the year. So that's a consensus that everyone's thinking. And a lot of places, a lot of businesses ain't going to survive. Now, as for the global thing, it's kind of unfortunate that there are protests. This is, like I said, not just here in the United States. This is global. All these different countries, it's a battle of, I think, the older, more conservative ideas and keeping your national identity, and a battle against this bizarre, global, open-ended thing where, people don't want to worry about money, people don't care about tradition or national identity. They want to make amends and change to what I don't know. And this is where the battle is. This is where the battle lines are drawn. Okay. Because like when they come out with banning all this stuff, Gone with the Wind, that upset my mother to where she was complaining about it. That's kind of died down. Because like I said, now we're all going to push for the election in this vicious... It's going to be a vicious one here. But unfortunately, there's a lot of other countries that are suffering this with immigration policies, all this other stuff, and different governments trying to get in there and change. Like I said, what they're changing is national identity and leaning more towards globalization, like a universal style of world government. And I think this is where the battle is. This is where the fighting's going to be. How it's going, like I said, they're not winning. They're not going to do it this easy. It's like a start, but then they're bringing up the thing that when the flu season comes, we're going to have this giant problem with the flu and COVID-19, and then they're going to shut everything down again. Okay, which probably you watch. When one side loses in the election, you're going to see everything get locked down the rest of the year. And it's just going to be a mess. But that's my thoughts on it for now. I know it's kind of scattered, but there's so much going on. One thing, education system. The education system here is not that good, okay? And now with this... remote learning and that, it's not working. It has become a major problem in this state. Okay, they were going to go, I think, 9 weeks And then now they're changing it. The governor said yesterday he's going to change it and let kids, grade school children, go back to full-time school if the district. He's going to leave it up to the district. If the district wants them back, they can come back. But he's lifting the restriction, okay? And then he leaves it up to the district to decide what to do. If they want to leave it with remote learning, they can. Or if they want to bring the children back into the classroom, they can do that, okay? This shows you that just people complained, and it's such a disaster, and people complained enough that it forced him to change, okay? And another thing, the reason education is key is everyone's complaining that children are learning nothing. They really don't get a good education when they're in a public school, and now this remote learning's a fiasco and they're learning zero. They're becoming uneducated. So in reality, the government is failing to do what it should do, is to make sure people get an education. But on the other hand, this is another ploy. People who are uneducated and unskilled are easy to control and manipulate. You have power over them. Okay? This is another part of this war. They're restricting education as a weapon to lower the standard of living, to lower your populace into an uneducated level, to where they're easily manipulated and controlled, is what this is. And I see this as this is extremely important, a direct threat to our nation and society as a whole. Okay, so this is another one of the multifaceted concepts of this war. And, people are going, they're falling apart. It's just bad. But they've complained enough to where they forced the governor to change his thing on there. And again, it's all political, it's all planned, and it's all BS. Alright, they should just send the children back to school, period. Alright. But thanks for watching, and if you stayed this long with the video, thank you. Stay tuned.